What's up, gentlemen? It's Flash, back with some more charts and another video. It's Thursday, September 26th, about 6:45 p.m. Eastern. We are after hours here. I'm going to go through all of my uranium tickers for the most part, and we're going to look at the chart, the price chart itself. We're also going to look at momentum. And for momentum, we're going to be looking at the distance percentage away from the moving average. Now, for the most part, on the monthly time frame, I like to use the 36 period moving average. 36 months is essentially 3 years. So when I drop down on the 2-week time frame, the week or the day, just know it's the 36 period of that time frame. Be sure to drop me a like if you find this helpful. It helps me out, gets this out to more people that might be interested in uranium, and let me know if you have any questions or any tickers you may want to see, uranium or not. So we're here on the monthly on URA. Beautiful price action as of late. And I think we have this down-sloping momentum line, a momentum that we eventually want to break out of. I'll also point out there is a nice little horizontal line that we're going to want to get above too. But we're very close to getting back in full bull mode, in my opinion. So that's going to be URA here. I'm not going to look at URNM or UNNJ. They're pretty much the same thing. Obviously, gold is looking really, really good. That's going to help us when it's outperforming the S&P 500. You know, with gold here, we're kind of approaching that overheated zone, as you see here on the momentum. But I don't think this is going to break. When this breaks down, that means gold's going to take a break for the most part. Gold versus SPX, just a huge, huge ratio that I like to keep track of, keep my eye on. Breaking out a momentum, which is really, really good to see. This is some bullish price action, I think. Gold measured in the S&P 500. U.UN, proxy for the metal. I would say there is some support here on momentum. Looks like we're finding that, which is good. We want to break out of this downtrending horizontal line, right? And then I think there will be some sort of horizontal line that we're going to want to break out of, similar like it did over here. And when this broke out, this thing just took off running. So keep your eye on this horizontal, which I think will take shape. Otherwise, we're right on support. Bull flagging out, really, really healthy. Same thing with the metal, right? Got to readjust some lines here. But, for the most part, there's general support line right here, it looks like. We're on top of this bull. Looks like we're getting some bullish price action. We'll drop into the weekly for this. And yeah, we're breaking out on the weekly. So that's really, really good to see. You want to see the uranium metal, the price of the metal increasing. Price of the metal measured in gold. Okay, there's a little bit of a momentum breakdown line here. Got that orange line in for you guys. But we're still above the zero line, right? The red line here. Well, actually, we have dipped below it. So let's keep our eye on this. We want to see this outperform gold. But I do think gold's getting ready to take a break. So we'll see how this hopefully can turn up, right? And then URA measured in U.UN. We're kind of doing this. I'm looking this at the same time you guys are. So I got to adjust some of my lines here on the fly. But bullish breakout momentum-wise, it's starting to creep up. We want this to get back above the zero line, back above the moving average, and looks like it's going to be approaching that in the near future. URA measured in gold. Again, I like the orange highlighter line. I don't know, for some reason it catches my eye a little bit better. But again, we want to see this kind of start moving up and to the right, and that means price is going to be working its way up into this little pocket. Ultimately, we want this to clear 0.0156. URA measured in the S&P 500. Similar story. Could say this is broken down, yes. We'll keep our eye on this. Sometimes these long-term trend lines don't mean a whole lot, but bullish price action, right? Breakout, big retest, deep retest. It really hurt us, right? But it's good to see, again, a bullish bounce. URA measured in the NASDAQ. We can maybe extend this arc out just a little bit, right? Maybe tighten it up. We want to break out of this pocket, though, ultimately. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. We can look at CCJ versus gold. Want to get above this big horizontal critical level here. Nvidia versus CCJ. Starting to break down, I think. Apple versus CCJ. Big bearish engulfing candle, which is what we want to see, right? In the uranium bull market, we want CCJ to be outperforming Apple. We want this ratio to be going down. Bitcoin measured in CCJ. You guys know, I think this looks like a head and shoulders topping pattern. We need more data, but good to follow this ratio as well. Apple versus URA. Yep, similar story here, right? It looks similar to Bitcoin versus URA. Bearish engulfing so far in the monthly. Good for URA. All right, let's look at some A players. We'll look at CCJ. Zoom out a little bit for you guys so you see the bigger picture here. Looks like some sort of consolidation. Call it a bull flag if you want. Definitely a correction of some sort. It's not going to go up in a straight line as it didn't back here, right? You know, kind of right here it did, but big correction here. I think we're kind of either in this area or right in this area. We did have a breakdown on momentum though, I will say. So this may need a little bit of time to consolidate. You know, maybe we could even throw in something like that. So CCJ looks like it could be going sideways for the foreseeable future, I will say. That's important to note, right? When we're looking at the rest of the equities, CCJ is typically our fearless leader. But if we zoom in on the weekly, you know, we got to ignore this line, but we have a new line on the weekly that we want to clear. And that it's approaching. It's coming in hot, right? We're back above that. We're back above the moving average at least. So we'll keep our eye on that. Over to Paladin. Paladin, see another clear breakdown line of momentum, which kind of said, okay, this is going to either go sideways or we might lose a little steam in Paladin. You know, ultimately, we're still bullish, right? We're still above the zero line, which means we're above the moving average, right? So when you take that into consideration, this is just a healthy pullback, just touching the moving average, and you know, we want this to continue upwards. You know, maybe we could throw on a horizontal line here. This is what we want to get above on momentum. Ultimately, that means price coming back up to about 16 bucks, hopefully clearing it and going to the upside of this channel, right? It's a big ask, but I think it could be done. Bannerman, a little bit cleaner here. You know, long-term momentum structure here. Bouncing on top of that support structure. So this looks really good. Looks healthy. Bullish engulfing looks like on the monthly right now, I think. Ultimately, we want to break out of this channel and follow up this bull to our target, right? You know, whether this is a legitimate target or not, you know, who's to say, right? But I think it could at least retest the highs up here at $37, which would be a 10-bagger from here. Deep yellow. Look at deep yellow here. I'm going to redraw this line in orange. This could be a breakout and retest of this structure at least. Let's clean this up. Ah, shoot. Definitely some sort of breakdown here, right? A momentum. So it's going to take some time to consolidate, which it has done. And again, there's another horizontal here that we want to get above. So that's our line in the sand with deep yellow. Encore Energy. I mean, this thing just looks beautiful from a bigger picture time frame perspective, right? Sideways consolidation since September of 2021. 3 years worth of sideways consolidation, right? The longer the base, the higher in space. You know, I think if we want to call this some sort of bull flag, you know, we could throw a target on this thing once it breaks out, you know. Too early to tell, but ultimately some bullish price action as of late. Can even throw this horizontal line. So that looks really good, right? Like this looks like it has building up a lot of energy, a lot of momentum down here, ready to burst out, and then, you know, at least come back up here to 205% above the moving average. So where would that put us? 205% above the moving average, assuming price action goes sideways / up and to the right. And if we measure 200%, about 21 bucks. Pretty good return right there. Okay, FSY. A lot of lines on here. We got to clean this up, boys. Bear with me. Oh man, I don't know what I was doing here. Sometimes, we'll play a little bit on the smaller time frames, which confuse me a little bit on the bigger picture. But again, building the energy within this little momentum pocket, we want to burst out of this and explode, which I think we can do, right? We want to ultimately break this resistance, get in this channel, upwards channel, hopefully break out of this channel, right? So FSY looks really good, I think. Just needs a little bit more time, which I think you're going to see with some of these other tickers. Denison Mines. So here's what's interesting about Denison Mines. We had a little bit of a fake out right here on momentum, right? Looked really good. And then we broke down. Again, just kind of rebuilding the steam. But ultimately, I think we're still in bull mode. UEC. Clear as day on UEC, When we broke down out of this, break down, and then it slingshotted back up. Ultimately, this is just a big structure here. It's going to take time to play out. But I'm thinking of this as one big base, right? So there's a big target on this, assuming it were to break out, right? Like we would take the bottom of the base, for example, put it on top of the base. There's some big price targets here that we're playing around with. 1164, which is CGN mining, and look at this baby. This thing looks so good. I'm going to put this on the line chart just so we can really see what we're dealing with here. But man, this thing looks so good. The moving average is right in this channel, right on this little bowl, sideways bowl, I'm kind of calling it right now. We got to let this moving average just guide price up, guide it up. Again, it's going to take years for this thing to really play out, but the price targets, the potential is there. Really like CGN. Break out of the base, big back test here. I definitely am going to star this one because it looks great. I'm going to put it in the green. SLX, Silex. So I love this price chart. I love this channel, healthy moving average price action. But it looks like we have broken down from momentum. So I would think this could maybe chop around here for a little bit. That's a bad drawing, but you kind of get the idea, right? Until we kind of break out of this, I think. So need some more time, in my opinion. All right, so that's the A players. Those are like some of the best uranium stocks that I think look the best. But there's still, the next category is leaders. So SMR, new scale power. We're going to drop into the daily for this. Remove some of these lines. I mean, just price action alone, it looks like we were in this channel, right? Broke out of the channel. Doing some sort of retest. This could also be a big cup. Weird cup, right? Cup and handle formation. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly's kind of telling a different story because we bounced right on the 36 period weekly moving average. So I might get rid of this channel for now. Just look at price action for what it is. I think once we clear 15 bucks, that's really the launch pad. Over to Lotus on the monthly. See, Lotus broke out of this big descending resistance line, back tested it for a while, resumed upwards. Now we're kind of caught in this channel here. Breakdown on momentum. And then ultimately, I think we just want to get above this on momentum right now. Still need some more time. Boss Energy. Let's zoom out on Boss on the monthly. I mean, it's funny to this is a big bowl, big cup, a little bit of a handle here, breakout, deep retest, right? This I think is an excellent buy zone. Just looking at the price chart alone, not financial advice. But with momentum, you want to see this kind of, again, get back into this pocket, work its way through here. So maybe it's going to take 2025 to kind of get through here and really break out. But still, I think this is a great area to be looking at, boss. ISO. Big consolidation, big bull flag. And man, we're right there. Right there for ISO. I really like the look of this. Some of these ones in the leaders towards the middle of the pack are starting to look better. I might start moving them up into the leaders just because of how good they look. ISO being one of them. Look at Alligator Energy. Similar story, sideways consolidation. With momentum, it's tough to say, right? There's no clear resistance line. We can kind of throw that in there for now. But yeah, man. Again, Alligator looks good. Let's go ahead and star ISO. We'll star Alligator because once these kind of work their way up and break out, I think the sky's the limit. Next gen, similar to Boss Energy, right? Breakout, back test, breakout, back test, upward sloping channel. I think also a good area to be looking at next gen with some clear momentum lines. Still has some work to do though. Yellow cake. Yellow cake on the monthly with momentum isn't as clear. Maybe we'll drop into the 2-week. Extend this out a little bit. And look at that. You know, this is an aggressive breakout line, right? Super aggressive. So we want to look for these entries where it's breaking out of a sideways to down sloping momentum line, in my opinion, right? So this is right back above the moving average, fighting that moving average right now. But ultimately, this needs a little bit more time. Kind of a repeating theme here, but it looks good. ASPI will drop in on the 2-day for this one. Here's this channel that I think is on ASPI, right? So again, similar big breakout. I got into ASPI like right here. I wrote it up, didn't sell. So I've been riding this one a little bit, but starting to look bullish again. Momentum though is kind of like it's down and to the right. I'm gonna remove all of these. But here's what I'm seeing like with ASPI at least. Like there's a little bit of a breakout right here. We're back above the 0 line. So I think this looks really good. Just price action is just, it's not as, doesn't look as bullish right now. I mean, it looks bullish, but I want to see more green candles. Nano nuclear energy. Oh man, I love the look of this one, right? Definitely a smaller market cap stock, not as much price action, but it's still clear as day what we need to get above. I think if we can get above 16 bucks and hold that, you know, I think this one could, this is already breaking out, right? We're on the daily time frame, right? So this is a shorter term look right here, but this looks really, really good. We want to hold this support line as we work our way up, right? So that's kind of the line in the sand, but ultimately NNE, definitely worth looking closer at. I'm going to star that one too. Over to Centris, LEU on the monthly. Oh man, we've been waiting for this one for a while. Finally a little breakout on Centris, LEU, and a breakout on momentum. The thing is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Starring Centris. Might move it up to the leaders because obviously it's leading right now. Looks beautiful. Love Centris. Elevate up 11% today. And here you go with Elevate. I mean, beautiful bull flag. Beautiful, you know, 3-wave correction, A, B, C. Made a lower low. It's what we're looking for. Once it got back above that A, kind of like a double bottom almost. I'm not even sure if it breached the low. But yeah, once this breaks out momentum, it's time to look at Elevate. I'm going to star Elevate. Sky Harbor, right? Similar look and feel. Oh man, I'm excited again, boys. I love this. I love these charts. Beautiful bullish engulfing here on Sky Harbor. Want to clear this momentum line and sky's the limit, I think. This could be we're nearing the end of this base. Starring Sky Harbor. Laramide, similar story. Oh, I'm getting excited. Wow, I need to contain myself. Similar story though, starring Laramide. I mean, all these look super good right now. Mega Uranium, Still has some work to do, right? But on this bull, finding support, where's that moving average? Yeah, we're back above the moving average. Mega looks good. Falling wedge, falling wedge. Energy fuels. Man, these all look the same. Love me some energy fuels. It's been ugly, right? Recently it's been boring, sideways and down, but the momentum's telling you the story. It's getting ready. Canalaska is one of the rare ones that just looks, it's held its weight, right? And it looks so good on momentum. Starring Canalaska. I mean, it's coming, it's breaking out. I think this is a good time to get into Canalaska, not financial advice. Western Uranium. Still has some work to do. Momentum. You know, we kind of broke down, right? So that told us we're going to break down or go sideways. Build the energy for the next leg up. Tough to say where you want to put a resistance line on momentum. Like maybe like that alongside the others. We'll leave that there for now. UROY. Similar story, right? Big bull flag it looks like. We want to break out of the bull flag first, see what happens. FUU. Man, I was excited about FUU and then it just took this nasty dip. But just get ready. Get ready for FUU, F3. We want to see this kind of consolidate here. Can we put a channel on this? I mean, I guess this starts looking like alligator energy a little bit, I will say. Cap. Oh, Cap's finding support right on this trend line. That's pretty close too. Pretty close too, boys. I like the look of Cap here. Let's star Cap. FCU. Yeah. FCU, similar story. I want to break out of this momentum, break out of this base, and we're going to launch. GLO. Haven't looked at GLO for a while, but look at that. It's kind of hanging on this trend line a little bit, hanging on for dear life. Bullish, expanding, consolidation. Starting to look good. We want to get back above the red line, the zero line. We're below the moving average, right? So see what that Ichimoku cloud is. Yeah, so we're below the cloud. We're below the moving average. This still has work to do, but momentum's telling us it can be done. And then we'll look at the laggards. BSK is just not great, but you never know. This can pop, so just keep your eye on it. Lightbridge, similar story, has work to do. FMC, wow, look at that on momentum. Enhance a little bit here. The zero line is pretty much the line we want to get above, right? And that's the moving average. So we're coming close. We want to get above this moving average, chop around, and then continue launching. Find or base load. Oh, it's a laggard for a reason. I mean, this price action has a lot of work to do. That's why I don't really cover it that much. AEC. Okay, AEC is trying to tell us something. There's a momentum line it wants to get above. It's getting above that 3-year moving average, but still, like, there's a lot of work to be done here. We want to, I mean, ultimately, this AEC could be a huge, I have a 380 bagger on here, but I mean, we have to clear this bottom bull before we advance to the next level. You know what I mean? Peninsula. Yeah, I don't know. Not a fan right now. And then GoVX. Big bullish engulfing candle. We're below the moving average, below that zero line, so this has work to do too, but it looks better than, like, we'll move GoVX up a little bit. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. I mean, needs a little bit more time on a lot of these, but I would say we're still very, very bullish, okay? That's Flash. I'm a uranium bull. I'm looking at the ratios for you guys. Drop me a like if you found this helpful, and I'll see you boys in the next one.